to it getting solved, it's also key to this entire controversy that's been unfolding. We've been waiting for this ruling for months, and the court sided with prosecutors and police. This is an extremely rare situation, and while this is a big win for the victim, Allison Feldman's family, and the prosecution to move forward with trial, there is now a chance this goes to the United States Supreme Court.
Nearly a decade without his daughter. Today, a win as any for a father caught in the slow-turning wheels of justice.
It is joyous that we can now at least move on from here. Without DNA, a lot of cases would never get solved.
It's a double-edged sword in Allison Feldman's case. Without DNA, there would have never been an arrest in her murder. But how the suspect DNA was obtained has caused years of delays and controversy. In 2015, Allison Feldman was found assaulted, strangled, and beaten to death in her own Scottsdale home. The case went cold for years until in 2018, a familial DNA test got a hit to a man in the prison system. Investigators determined that man's brother, Ian Mitcham, was a prime suspect, and Scottsdale police already had his DNA in the system from a previous DUI arrest. It ended up being a direct match with crime scene DNA, and Mitcham was arrested for murder. But just before the trial would begin in December 2022, his attorney said Scottsdale police violated his Fourth Amendment rights by using DNA in their system from his DUI without a warrant to do so. That DNA should have been destroyed years prior.
They really believed that it was already counted as evidence. So I'm not critical of the Scottsdale police. This was a mistake based on the motion that was brought against them. But I don't hold any grudge against them.
The Supreme Court making clear in their ruling, Scottsdale police did violate Mitcham's Fourth Amendment rights and was wrong. But because Mitcham was arrested and convicted for felonies after Allison's murder, police would eventually have gotten their DNA matched to her crime scene no matter what. That's called inevitable discovery, and the reason the state Supreme Court says the DNA can be used in trial.
Had he not committed more felonies, though, it does sound like the Supreme Court would have said this DNA cannot be used.
Could have. The 3 felonies cemented under Arizona law that could be taken, but I think we'd have had a good fight anyway.
Part of the reason the DNA is so important, there's seemingly still no motive that ever would have led detectives to Mitcham otherwise.
I still think one of the more perplexing aspects of this case is that there's no known tie or relationship or connection between Mitcham and your daughter prior to her death.
No, we've not found one. Police haven't found one, so we don't know what the connection is.
Still so bizarre to this day. Mitcham's team says they now plan to make a formal request to the United States Supreme Court to review the case. Harley Feldman believes it's unlikely the Supreme Court will take them up on that. As for a trial, no new date has been set, but a status conference on January 9th should tell us more about what happens next. Of course, we'll be following this as it weaves its way through court. Live in the studio tonight, Brianna Whitney for Arizona's Family.